Well, and there's always seasons in all of our lives, and God leads us as He does when we seek Him. He's always faithful to show the way and the next steps in all of our lives. And we're joined right now by our very own Rhonda Glenn, because the Lord is taking her on some new steps, and we wanted to sit down with her. It's a little different, Rhonda, to be on this side of the interview, right. But here you are, and we want to first of all hear from your heart about the way God has been leading you of late.
Well, first, just let me state for the record, I am so much more uncomfortable on this side of the couch than on that side. It is so much easier to ask the questions than to provide the answers. But yes, Ron, God has been leading me in a brand new direction, and this has to be one of the saddest days of my life, but also one of the most exciting. Because when God calls you on to a new venture, what can you do except say yes? And you might go kicking and screaming and maybe being dragged a little bit, but you just have to do what God asks you to do. And something that has been on my heart, a decision that has been on my heart, it's been more than a year and a half in the making, is to go back to school full-time. I first got the idea when my husband went back to school, got his Master of Divinity, and I thought, wow, you know, if he can get his master's, maybe that's a possibility for me. Thought about what would I possibly like to do? If I could do anything, if I could go back to school and study anything, what would I really like to do? And I've always wanted to study law. I wanted to go to law school. So I thought, well, maybe that's just, it seemed like such a big idea and so overwhelming, but I thought, well, you know, I'll pray about it and I'll put it before the Lord and see what He has to say. And I prayed so diligently through every step of the way. It's really impossible to go back a decision that has been so long in the making and talk about every little step, the doors that have opened and the doors that have closed. But I really put it before the Lord and said, God, if this is what you want me to do, please open the door wide. And if not, you just slam it shut tight. And believe me, there were times when I was before the Lord saying, oh, open the door wide. And sometimes when I'm like, please close it tight, because I have so much enjoyed the 4 years that I've spent at Crossroads doing 100 Huntley Street. And the door has just continually opened and opened and opened. So this fall, I've returned to school full-time, studying at Osgoode Hall Law School, one of the best law schools in the country.
Now, Rhonda, I know that we'd be joining all of our viewers in saying, boy, are you going to be missed, because those 4 years have been a huge blessing for us as well. You brought a fresh new dimension to the program. Your interview skills are just really second to none, Rhonda. You in bringing out stories, which is really the key of 100 Huntley Street, is just people telling stories of what God has done in their life, and you're able to bring that out in such a powerful way. And Rhonda, we are really, really going to miss you. I'm
going to miss you. And something that we've discussed, Ron, as I've been talking over the decision with you and Ann, is the fact that when things are really, really good, it's really difficult to make a major life change. And I can't think of things being any better. This is really, right now, as I sit here today, the best season in my life so far. Things have never been better. But as I said, when you feel God calling you on to a new venture, you have to go. And it's really difficult when things are so sweet and they're so good. But isn't it the mercy of God that even when things are good, He can lead you gently without really making His point known in an uncomfortable way? But I have so enjoyed these 4 years. I can't begin to even express. Words totally fail me, which is a rarity for me. But I don't have the words to express how much I have enjoyed the 4 years that I've spent as a co-host of 100 Huntley Street. What it has meant to me, the amazing people that I've had the opportunity to interview, the books that I've read, the people that I've met. And Ron, you've been gracious enough never to take me up on this, but there have been many days when I've been in here thinking, I can't believe I get paid to do this. I really feel many, many days that I should be writing a check to Crossroads for the privilege of doing this instead of the other way around. but I am so grateful that you've never actually taken me up on that. Thank you for that.
Well, I do know you are a supporter of Crossroads with Ray David, as are many others. But Rhonda, I have a feeling over the coming days and weeks, you're going to get a sense of the outpouring of love from viewers over the last 4 years through emails, through letters, and what have you, and saying goodbye.
Yes, and Ron, I want to encourage you, if you have loved and appreciated Rhonda's ministry through this program, 100 Huntley Street, drop her a line. We will make sure she gets all of the emails, all of the letters, all of the prayers that you want to say on her behalf. We will make sure they go directly to her, because we, like you, do love you so much, Rhonda. And this, I know this is something that you and Ray David have been praying about for a while now. It's not something that we have instigated because we love you, but we do support you in your decision to follow God's leading, because that's all any of us can do.
And let me just say right now that we will be having Rhonda come in from time to time in the future.
Yes.
And do I have your commitment on live TV?
Absolutely, absolutely. I would love to. And one thing about studying law, whether you end up as a practicing lawyer or not, one thing about studying law is it can only make you a better thinker, a more critical thinker, and ultimately a better broadcaster. So, you know, it's a great field of study in that regard.
And a great field of influence to have someone like you there, Rhonda. I know it's going to be a wonderful...
Well, that's one of the seeds, Ron, that has been planted in my heart. We have seen increasingly so many major decisions that affect this country being made in the courts instead of at the polls. And politicians, and I will say this, rightly so, politicians are very reluctant to use a notwithstanding clause. And so you see so many important decisions being made within the legal system. I just feel, and I have no idea how God is going to use this, and I would not be telling the truth if I said, you know, I have an ultimate plan. I don't even really know what field of law I want to study. But there are a myriad of ways to use a law degree to influence social justice issues in a positive way. And I would like to be a part of the legal system where you see so many major decisions affecting this country being made in the courts.
Well, you'll be having a lot of people praying for you
as
you're going through the schooling time. I know there is a Christmas break and a summer break, at least, during the school, and maybe that'll be an opportunity to have you pop over and do some fill-in hosting or whatever, because we'd love to have you back. I
would absolutely love to. And as you know, because I've talked about it so often on the program, I have a 4-year-old son, Matthew. My husband and I together have a 4-year-old son, Matthew. And I'm just not willing to give up a year of his life. And first-year law is very, very difficult. It's really, the way I'm looking at it is it's 8 months. It's a 4-month semester and then another 4-month semester, and that's the only way I can make it through. But I'm not even willing to give up 8 months of his young life. So it's going to be very difficult balancing, as it always has been for me, balancing being a mom, which is my first calling, and also full-time study. But one of the things that is nice about going to school, and I would highly recommend it for anybody who might be toying with the idea, when you do have young children, going to school is not such a bad way of balancing mothering and actual furthering your studies as well, because at least your schedules coincide.
Right.